what a career in Lean Six Sigma looks like. So in this video, I'm going to talk about two different jobs that I've had in continuous improvement and what the day-to-day of that looked like. So if you're looking at taking a career in continuous improvement, you can know a little bit more of what to expect. I'm Amanda Zimmerman. I'm a Lean Six Sigma Master Black Belt, and I've both worked in consulting as well as in organizations to make their processes better, safer, faster, and more efficient. The first job we're going to talk about is my job at an organization, an oil and gas company, where I was a process improvement engineer. So about a third of my job in that role was actually working with the customer to review scorecards, to review our performance. So about a third of the time I was actually putting together that data or actually meeting with the customer and reporting out not just on my performance on the projects, but also the customer's or the company's performance in their processes, right? So I would meet with the management team as well. We would go over that data and we would share that with the customer. About a third of my job was more administrative in terms of getting things scheduled, calling people, following up on project action items, making sure that projects are moving forward, checking in on those different projects, working with my different team members to make sure that any data was received and analyzed, going through that data, maybe doing statistical analysis, putting together control charts and things like that. So about a third of my job ended up being that. And I would say a third or 50%, somewhere in there, ends up actually being leading and facilitating continuous improvement events. So actually going out and meeting with different team members, getting their support of the project. That can take some time to meet with champions, to follow up with people. The more you can do things in person or one-on-one, where you catch people maybe in the hallway or as they're doing other work, the better you can keep those actions going, keep the project fresh in their mind. So you have to find ways of doing that, no matter if you're remote or on site. So about a third of the job was actually leading events and working one-on-one with people on continuous improvement, which means that it's really important if you're going into continuous improvement as a career that you're comfortable with working with others and facilitating projects, specifically projects that you might not know the answer to, you shouldn't know the answer to, and that you're going to be facilitating or leading. So actually having those discussions, that can be quite stressful for some people. So that was working for a company. Let's talk about consulting. What can you expect if you're a consultant? Now, the first thing that you can expect as a continuous improvement consultant is a lot of travel. It's likely that you will be traveling to a location. You will be staying in a hotel, separate rooms with the other people that are on your continuous improvement team that work for your consulting agency. And then you're going to go out to the client's location and you'll be doing work generally on site at the client's. Now, generally in consulting, there'll be some kind of room that they'll identify that you'll be able to work in. And from there, you'll be able to go out and do your projects fairly traditionally with the client, with the different team members that the client has identified for you to work with. Working with a client this way, working in consulting, I'd say there's like 4 major tasks that you're going to be working on. So one is going to be strategizing with the other consultants. So actually talking about how are you going to take this on? Where are you going to go with this? How are you going to support the client? How are you going to meet your goals? And maybe developing even slide decks for the client to talk about how you're going to meet those goals. So that's going to be one piece that may go higher or lower depending on how the project is going. The other is going to be that administrative work. So data analysis, following up with the client, scheduling meetings, all of those things. Maybe you'll have an assistant or somebody that can help you with that, but those administrative tasks will be there, especially the data analysis. And while you can do this with someone that works for the client or with another consultant, it is really important that you make your decisions with data, which means that no matter what you do, you'll have some time in Excel or Google Sheets or Minitab or whatever you're using to actually analyze that data. The third task that you're generally doing when you're a consultant might be teaching or training. So actually leading either workshops or facilitating trainings, like traditional trainings such as white belt or yellow belt, those might be things that you take on. And then that fourth piece is going to be leading projects. Now, this is the majority of the work that you're going to be doing, is actually going to be facilitating events where people go through and they define their problem. They review the data. They do analysis activities for root causes. Now, you are the subject matter experts on those tools, so it will be up to you to select the right tools for those events and to lead that team through it. It may also be up to you to summarize that information for the client. Now, if there's someone there that works for the company that can do that for you, that's wonderful, but you have to always remember that your ultimate goal is to show the client that they've achieved a certain amount of benefits that you promised them. So your focus is always going to go back and make sure that you have that common understanding. And those are some of the things that you can expect if you go into a full-time Lean Six Sigma role. You'll be facilitating projects. You may be leading training such as white belt or modified versions of white belt. You'll be doing some data analysis, and you'll likely have some connection with the client or the customer to talk about what value is and to report out your process performance.